What am I doing today on this blissful? What am I doing today on this 7-degree day? Beautiful out. I am sniffing kerosene. Oh, look at this. That's a pellet stove. Staged. I know. I was doing this earlier. This stuff was all swollen so bad, and it's just clumped. Whitfield Pellet Stove, because this may be my source of heat since I've torn out boilers. Or not boilers, but the baseboards, because I think everything froze and cracked. You can see leaks everywhere. That's a lot of fun. And then this guy, I've been working on cleaning it up, and you can see like all the wires have been disconnected. So I just took this fan motor out. The auger was nasty. There's the auger down in there. And now it spins completely freely. Should be moving. And you can plug it in here. You can take these two hot wires and you can hear it running. I don't know if you can see it moving or not, but that works. It's all freed up. And then here you've got, let's see, white and black, I think. Oh yeah, we got fan. Low and high. It's got instructions. I did power the unit and saw that the auger does work. Not quite sure why they stopped using it, but I want to get this thing working, and that fan works, the other fan works, the auger works, this controller seems to work. I got to hook these wires back up and see, and get rid of this dangerous method, even though it works for a quickie to check things out. Yeah. So let's hope I can get some heat in this bad boy today and get my fingers clean and get some lunch for once. I keep forgetting to eat lunch when I'm down here. Well, it's a good thing they had this wiring diagram, because I don't know if I would have ever figured it out. And I still got this jerry rigged. I'm going to plug it in. I need a computer cord. So, the fan's working. So it's spinning high and low. So I got that. And there's a lot of good airflow coming out of here. You can see stuff going around. Turn on high. So that's, I'm going to take those over. They're over top of the heat tray. But the problem is here is my auger is not spinning. So the way the auger works is you get brown out of the control unit, goes into this damper. That's a switch, and it's made on vacuum because it's from the fan for the exhaust. Now if I disconnect this, you can see the switch is switched. I'm going to hook this back up, and I'm going to let you watch the switch. I'm just pushing it on and off like this. Doesn't take much. So that shuts it off. And then you pull that, and it's saying yes, the fan is working. So it's letting this be connected. Then this goes over to a switch over there, which I believe is a heat switch, and it's hard to see because I can't get light on it, and I can't even get back there to see what it looks like. So then you come out of that switch, and these wires need to be all put together, and then you come into the blue, and then I have the blue running straight into this motor. So the brown is the same as the blue. So what I did, because it's not working, is I disconnect this guy. I took another wire and I ran it from here straight to there, and I eliminated the other switch, and then it worked. So my hot, let's see, what is it called? My high limit switch is bad, or it needs cleaned or something. So I'm gonna try to get over there and take that apart. But besides that, it works. I just need to get a computer switch thing in here. The thing is it's on all the time, which is a little strange. And I mean, if you don't have it plugged in, if you have it plugged in, it's on all the time. So I think what I'm gonna do, oh, you know what? Actually, there isn't a switch around here. I was thinking maybe that outlet right there is on a switch. And it should be. That's kind of dumb. So yeah, that's kind of dumb. Well, I might have to add a switch to that. Well, the switch went right in there. And that's definitely to make sure you're not getting too hot. So the air goes out and up the chimney, and the switch is here to help prevent overheating. And I hit on it a little bit and broke it. So I'm definitely going to need a new one. I'm not too worried about touching this because I'm not touching anything else. But I did stick this in here. I wasn't getting a spark. It's supposed to be touching. So if I do that, I hear the auger moving. You wouldn't be able to hear it. So I'm going to have to get a new part. Not a big deal. These are pretty cheap. And there's part numbers on it, or I'll just order it from Whitfield. Alright. Now maybe we'll see it, because I might bypass that just to see if I can't get it running, and then I'll wait on that to come here. Well, as promised, look at that, I got some action going on. I'm gonna turn some light on here. Got the hopper, my Michigan wood fuel. It's only like $6 at Tractor Supply. A couple more bags here. What I ended up doing just for tonight, just to goof around with this, is I just hooked those two together, and that's my limit switch if it's on order. I think this is an older unit because this here is the damper's mechanical, but everything is working. I was able to buy a new cord, just a computer cord, but you can see the thing moves. That's the hopper. I have it on high, so it's feeding constantly. All the fans are working. I do feel heat coming out. And let's see if we can watch it drop in. There you go. It's about every few seconds. Yeah, so hopefully that will keep this place warm. It is going to get down to like 1 degree tonight. Alright, so I'm squeezed back in here. And I just wanted to fix what I had said earlier. The back in there is the two white wires are going to the high limit switch, and the switch over there is the low. So technically, by the diagram, the brown is supposed to go to the high limit switch, one of them, and then back out of that, and then that actually goes over to then down and feeds the auger motor. So those two work together. So this one is wrong. I have to hook that in to here, but let me show you on the diagram one more time. So you have brown, and that is feeding the auger motor. So basically that's just supposed to turn that on. White's the white, everything else. That's your common side. But you have two switches in between. So if anything goes wrong, if you don't have vacuum because your chimney's blocked or your fan is not working, then that switch will kill that connection and you will no longer feed pellets and create heat. And then the other one is the high limit switch, which is, like I mentioned, those white wires there, which is in here, which is somewhere inside of the combustion chamber, which makes sense that that's the high. In my mind, I had thought the high would be the exhaust, but that makes more sense now, and it's the low limit switch, which I show is with another diagram that has the picture here that somebody added. This doesn't kick on. This chart, which leads me to believe I may have wired it a little wrong. I thought the high limit switch would be the higher heat, which would be the exhaust. And that's not necessarily true, apparently, because that is at the fan that pulls the exhaust out. You would think going into the chimney, that's the hottest part, but it's actually inside of the combustion chamber, which is this one. And then this is the low limit switch, is the one that I was showing you guys that I bypassed. So, and then what was really confusing when I wired this one in, which obviously I wired that one into the circuit, I got to switch that around, is that you have your line in black and white, and then your ground is green to the device's casing. But it comes in here, and I'm like, okay, this goes up and it feeds the controller, and then but then also that line is feeding all of your fans and your auger motor. So why is this switch here? Like, that didn't make any sense to me at all. My photograph that I have on the box does not include this. This is somebody added this, but this makes perfect sense. Is the switch is open during when it's cold until it heats up to 140 degrees, and then this neutral comes and connects into here and takes over. So this is normally open, which is what I found when I was wiring that up, and I thought I had a problem, but apparently it's because I didn't wire it right, because I didn't know the difference between high and low switch. So anyhow, you live and learn. It's not that tough, but you definitely got to be careful and take your time and really study these things. That's just because I had it wired wrong. This is normally closed high, so I'm going to rewire this. Instead of going to here and then the auger motor, I need to go from here to here properly, and that's what I'm going to do right now. And then I had to reorder my low limit switch, and then now hopefully this thing will be safe. There possibly was nothing wrong with it except for the water that got in and froze the pellets and made the auger not work. All right, really quick, I'm going to walk you through this frustrating trying to find parts, because Whitfield apparently doesn't have a good website for themselves. But I found this. I'll put this down in the comments too. this stove and grill parts for less. It's actually a pretty good site. So you go to Pellet Stoves, they got a whole bunch in here. Go to Whitfield, click on that. By the pictures only, I don't know exactly my model number. I don't know why I couldn't find it. But this looks pretty much like the right one. Then I come over here to sensors and switches, and then I see this low limit heat switch, which looks identical to the one that I have. And then when I check the front, a lot of the numbers are lining up. Mainly that T, or the 19T12 is what I'm seeing. And then I took this part number from it, and I started searching around because I was like, whoa, that was a $60 mistake that I made when I broke it. Here's one for 21, and I don't know, that scares me a little bit. There's one for 39 using the same part number. Here's another one that says savings over the OEM. I still question that a little bit. And then this morning it was on, and then there was one of them in here I thought I saw for, it was like 100, yeah, it was 112 bucks. So you do want to look around and not just buy the first one you see. All right, real quick to show you how to take this side cover off. It's pretty simple, but it's a little tricky. So there's one little itty bitty screw that goes there. And then on the bottom, all you do is you pull it, because there is a little ball and a spring thing here. That's what holds it on. And then on the back, it's just a couple of slots at the top. If I can find the camera here. Right there, and then down here at the bottom. And they're like hinges, but you have to clear, I guess I don't know where the camera thing is here. So you have to clear that, and then you lift up. And then you have to lift the bottom and the top. It's slightly tricky. You got to get the right angle. I don't know if I'm doing it any justice here, but I'll give you an idea. So the hook here is on an angle. So you got to get the angle right, which clears this top versus that top corner. And then you have to lift up because it's got that little tooth that hangs down. So you lift that up off of there, and then it comes right off. So there you go. That caused me well, it's not that hard, but it takes a second to recognize what's going on there. Well, I learned an additional feature of that switch that I just installed. So it's on, but the switch is on to feed the power to it, and it is off. All you do is you turn the auger off, which is that button. The fire extinguishes itself because it burns out. There's no more pellets. It gets below the 140. The minute that gets below the 140, it switches off power to all the fans and everything, and shuts the whole unit down. You just kick that on. Let's see if the auger is working. No, the auger is still off, so it remembers that. So now I would hit the auger on, fill the tray, ignite it, and then when it burns out, it's still on with power. But the switch that I just installed for the 140 realizes, hey, there's no more heat. The computer bypasses that switch at the very beginning, which is that weird wiring. So there, I hope that makes sense to you. It's a terrible explanation, but it might help somebody. Alright, I got rewired. Managed the wires very nicely in the back, zip tied everything really well, and then I also put in a switch to the outlet. That way I can turn it on and off when I leave here. And it's burning real nice now. I just have a little flame going, just kind of chilling out, hanging out, getting warm. And I keep kind of playing around with the damper and the pellet feed. I'm trying to get, you know, a good balance here, so I got good flamage. It does change quite a bit as the pellets come in and burn up, but it seems to be working pretty good. I've got 40 pounds. I finished putting the bag in now that I know it works. Oh, here's something else. This this guy I got moving. It's not moving right. There we go. So this goes back and forth, and I can put this up. And I don't think you'll be able to see. Maybe you'll be able to see inside here. There you go. See that? That's what that controls, and what that's doing is all of these heater ducts, I guess, the convection, the air blows across, and it just keeps those clean. And I saw that on another video, couldn't figure out what the heck that was for, and freed it up, and now I can clean those off. So I'm gonna sit here and enjoy the fire for a bit. Anyways, hopefully that was helpful for somebody. And yeah, now I got a nice little fire.